Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing a different video as we will talk about cheese and we're going to discover the famous cheese Comté. So as regards the origin of Comté, there was already some Latin text dating of 58 before Christ, mentioning about the existence of a certain cheese from Sequani, which is the old name of the Franche-Comté region where the cheese is today produced. Those cheeses were enjoyed in Rome at this time. The origins of Comté itself date from the Middle Age, in the 13th century. The story says that in the Jura region, in eastern France, a region where the famous mountain chain can be found, the winters were so tough and long that men decided to transform milk into a cheese with a long shelf life. So only cheeses with a big size and with a pâte pressée cuite, which translates into cooked hard dough or cooked hard cheese, were able to resist the length of the long cold season. In 1264 marked the year where the first time the name fructerie was written. A fructerie, called today fruitière, is the workshop where farmers bring their milk, like a cooperative where the cheeses of long shelf life are produced. It was actually a need, because the meule, or the cheese wheel, needed a lot of milk, 400 liters in average. In 1380, it was written about a fromage or cheese of a large size, produced in the cooperative mentioned earlier. At the end of the 16th century, the cheese started to be commercialized due to the increasing size of the cities. It was therefore not only for own consumption anymore. During the 18th century, production tremendously increased as population did too. There was at this time about 700 fruitières. In 1880, the appellation Gruyère de Comté started to be used in order to insist on the regional provenance. At this time, there was about 1,800 fruitières. In the early 50s, the zone of the production of Gruyère de Comté was officially set. And finally, in 1958, Comté was one of the first cheese to receive an AOC certification. AOC means Appellation d'origine contrôlée, or Controlled Appellation of Origin. It is, to sum it up, a sort of a copyright for produces that are made in certain regions to be able to bear a certain name. So for example, AOC Comté can only be produced in the specific region of Franche-Comté according to specific procedures or specific norms. In other words, if a cheese of a similar taste and even respecting the same procedures is produced in another region, it cannot be called an AOC Comté. In 1986, the word Gruyère is removed, so we don't talk anymore about Gruyère de Comté, we only talk about Comté. Finally, the cheese obtained the AOP, Appellation d'origine protégée, or Protected Appellation of Origin, in 1996. It is basically similar to the AOC, but at the European level. So how is made Comté? The Comté is made with raw cow's milk. The milk is poured into copper tanks where it is heated up to 40 degrees Celsius maximum. Then some levain or leaven is added, which will act as an acidifying agent. Those will help developing the taste of the cheese. After a few minutes of maceration is added some présure or rôdé, which will activate the coagulation of the milk. When the milk curd reaches the right consistency, the cheesemaker proceeds to cut it into small pieces. It is then heated up to a temperature of minimum 53 degrees Celsius for at least 30 minutes. This process helps to remove le petit lait, or the small milk, the residual liquid that appears during coagulation. The cheese is then extracted and put into mold, salted, and then be pressed for at least 6 hours. L'affinage, or the ripening, is done on the board of épicéa tree for at least 120 days. Most of the Comté are matured for 6, 12 and up to 24 months and even more. During this stage, all the flavors develop. So what are the aromas and flavor profile of Comté? Let's try it. So aromas of Comté are similar to nuts. We're here smelling some almonds or hazelnuts. There's a little bit of milk aromas too. Let's try it. It's very nice. The flavors are not that strong but very fruity, roasted and nutty, with almonds, melted butter and fresh milk. There is also a little bit of acidity with some citrus, which is well balanced. I could eat that every day. So to pair the Comté cheese with wine, the ideal will be a vin jaune or Arbois, yellow wine from the Jura. You can also enjoy it with a dry white wine, a Burgundy, for example, will be a great choice. But also it is a cheese that pairs really well with champagne. If you want to pair it with a red wine, I would suggest a light red wine with very low tannins. A Pinot Noir will be a great idea. So a Pinot Noir for Burgundy is also a good idea. So what are the other uses of Comté? Comté can also be used in cooking, for example with a quiche or a tart, with cured pork belly or bacon, or even simply in the sandwich, where it can be a little melted. So we hope you enjoyed watching this video. We will do more videos about cheeses as it is also our passion. So see you next time for another video. Cheers!
Thank you for watching this episode and don't forget to subscribe, like and share.